Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, like always, another weekly analysis for you. On the screen are the pairs we'll be analyzing today, but try to make sure you stay to the end of the video because I will be breaking down each pair, analyzing what happened this week, and obviously forecasting the next. So do hope you enjoyed today's video and find it useful, but without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first up, Euro USD. So as you can see for this pair, nice downside move this week. Again, price was moving quite sideways for the past few days, as you can see. And we did need that news to act as the catalyst to get us trending again, moving outside that consolidation, and we can get some nice clean momentum coming back into the market. So for Euro USD, as you probably all know, market is very much in a larger downtrend. And I do expect that to continue. I still do have that monthly wick target, which we came so close to hit last month, which is all the way down here. So that wick there, which make that darker. So that wick there back in 2017, January 2017, that's the wick I'm expecting the market to come and take out, which we came so close to doing last month. So for me, it's onwards and downwards now for Euro USD. We are coming into a level of support here where we could see a potential bounce from. Haven't quite hit that yet, but I'm expecting the market to move through that and head down to 1.03417. So for next week for Euro USD, we're looking for some retracement or break and retest of this 1.05 level, something like this, retest of that, and then the sells, or a break and retest of this level here, and then the sells to the downside. So either which way for Euro, not interested in buys whatsoever. Was only looking for buys if we did break out that consolidation to the upside, but as you can see, we did not do that. So Euro USD bearish bias, looking for this one to get back down to those lows, to take out that monthly wick. Hopefully you can see that retracement, but if not, we'll also look for that break and retest of 1.05 and targets for this one back down at 1.03400. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to USD JPY. So for this one, it's flying to the upside, as you can see, consecutive bullish candles here on the daily time frame, and the market is really going. The targets for this one we had for the monthly time frame were 135, or just maybe just underneath 135, I believe. Yeah, 134.642, and as you can see, almost hitting that area right now. So practically coming into this monthly target, into this monthly resistance, which last time we were trading here was back in 2002. So the market has really flown to the upside here, USD-JPY. I'm approaching some areas where we haven't been in a long time, and the next level above this, you know, these highs up here, which I'm pretty sure are the all-time highs at 144. So I'm expecting to see some type of profit taking coming into this level here. Don't get me wrong, the market is very bullish, but if you can see some bearish structure to form around these areas, I do think we can take advantage of maybe some type of pullback before maybe price continues higher if it wants to. So for USD-JPY coming into that key area, again, if you're looking for buys, I would wait for this one to pull back to get back involved, because we are coming into a key area on the monthly time frame. So looking for sells for USD-JPY. We also didn't really get a break and retest of this resistance here, that price swing high. Market broke through that and just flew. I said it would be nice, could get a break and retest this week, but as you can see, we did not there. So for USD-JPY, looking to see if we can hold on to this. We aren't quite at that level yet. If we start forming some lower highs at this level, we'll look for sells, and targets will be back at 131, which where there could be some nice buys to take it back up again, since pretty much at all time frames, you know, are showing a lot of bullish momentum, bullish trend. So I do think the buys will still be there, but because of where we're trading right now and after the strong bullish move, I do think some profit taking will be happening. Buys will be backing out, and I do think we could see a bit of a pullback from that. But again, monitor price action, see what type of structure we can get before entering any sell position. So that's the plan for USD-JPY. Looking for sells at the start of the week at 134.600. If we can hold, great. Sells back down to 131.100, and if we can hold that, great. Buys back up to the highs again. Okay, so next up, USD CAD. So for this pair, nice bounce to the upside this week, which we were expecting. We were coming into this higher time frame, bullish trend line here, if I connect these swing points, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we were looking for a bounce from this area. Of course, the news definitely helped with that bounce and was the main catalyst in giving us that move, but the market has still respected that structure. Since we are still kind of in a very, very weak bullish trend here with USD CAD, market is still making higher highs and obviously still maintaining these higher lows. So the market is still trending up, and potentially that could lead us back to the highs potentially, but my main interest will be this resistance here at 1.29 for USD CAD. Very strong resistance, as you can see, bit of a fake out there, and that's what I'm expecting the market to head to next. If we break that, then yeah, we can head back to those highs and even further, but we'll take it one step at a time. So for USD CAD, coming into the week ahead, looking for some retracement, and then looking for buys back up into that level, and this is the level that my eyes are focusing on, just above the 1.27, so 1.27250 we'll call it. This support here, if we can hold that, that would be a great place to look for some buys, and then targets back at 1.29. If we just open up the market and just start flying again to the upside and we don't have that pullback, then I will be looking at 1.29 for some sells back down to that same level. So if we can hold that, of course, and not break through, see what type of price action we can get at this level, and if we can hold and get the necessary signals, then we'll be looking at sells back down to that same support. So if we just fly to the upside, no worries, you can still take advantage of the sells if they come about. But if you do get a pullback, that'll be great, and then we can buy it back up into 1.29 off the back of that 1.27 250 level as well. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys, but if you are enjoying the content and you find it useful, make sure you go hit the subscribe button down below, and also make sure you drop a like as well. It really does help the channel out. But anyway, back to the video. Okay, now we're going to take a look at Euro Pound. So Euro Pound this week kind of just corrected price action. The market is a bit of a range. If we dive into the 4H, you'll see. But on the daily here, the market is running on momentum. We had these strong moves to the upside, and if we were going to break out of this kind of corrective channel here, we would expect to see that momentum pick up pace and still maintain that momentum. But as you can see, the market is dying here, struggling at this resistance, multiple wicks to the upside. So it's no longer a clear-cut breakout for Euro Pound, and we need to see that bullish momentum come back in if we were going to have a breakout of this bearish channel. And if that's the case, I'm expecting the market to come back up into that resistance where the kind of corrective price action started. But as you can see, we're failing to do so. If you jump to the 4H, you can see the range, clear resistance there, clear support here the market is trading at, and simply I'm going to wait for the breakout for this to get the clearer direction of where Euro Pound will probably head to. If you can break through that support, that'd be great. Looking for the shorts to the downside. At that point, we've got the failed breakout, and I would expect price to go a lot further. But for next week, we just look at this 0.84 low. And if we can break through that high, then great, then that's when the breakout I do think will be back on again, and we can look at 0.87 there as our targets for that move. So that's simply how I'm going to look to play Euro Pound. Again, if you want to take advantage of the range, feel free to go and do so. Simply look to buy at the lows here at 0.84 800 and sell at the resistance at the highs at 0.85 600, and just take advantage of this fluctuating market. But for me, I'll be waiting for the breakout before I do commit to any positions on Euro Pound. And yeah, targets for me 0.84 if we break to the downside, and if we break to the upside, looking at 0.87. Okay, so now we're on to AUD USD. So for this pair, as you can see, really nice move to the downside, which we were expecting. The market came into our key weekly area, had that nice big false move that we had a few weeks ago, big wick to the upside, taking liquidity above those highs. So expecting the market to continue. This is what we're expecting to be retracement, tapping back into that resistance. Now, as you can see, a very strong bearish engulfing there on the weekly time frame. So it's still expecting that momentum to continue to the downside. Targets will be back down at this support here at just underneath 0.7. Then if you can break through that, looking for price to come back into these lows here at 0.68290. So for me, more downside for AUD/USD. Not interested in any of the longs really. The trend is to the downside, and we're still getting that bearish structure. So 0.7, also say 0.69870. And if you can break through that, I do expect us to make it back to those swing lows. So for AUD/USD, hopefully we can retrace. We had a very, very key level of support here, kind of neckline of that reversal there. So if you could pull back into that area, that would be fantastic. Looking for a lower high somewhere, then shorts back down to that level. Then if you can break through, shorts back down, but just zoom out a little bit, shorts back down to those lows at 0.68290. So that is the plan of action for AUDUSD. Hopefully you can get that retracement, the market doesn't just melt on the market open, and then targets, first target 0.7 and the second target is 0.68290 for AUDUSD. And now we're going to check out NZD CAD. So NZD CAD, more downside this week, which was expected. The market was rejecting this area here. Price support was the previous swing low, resistance. Market came, tapped into that level again, and as you can see, strong reaction to the downside. And what we've had is just more downside this week. We've come into the swing lows here, and the market has reacted to that, but I still do have a target, high time frame target at 0.8. Which, if you guys remember from last week, which is that monthly wick all the way down here. I'm expecting us to go and take it at that wick and see some new lows past that point. So more downside for NZD CAD. I know we're holding, currently holding that support, but I'm expecting just to see retracement, slight retracement to form another lower high for price to continue south. So for me, hopefully price can move up higher, come back and retest this consolidation here and get some shorts off the back of that, because the break and retest here, probably not the greatest risk of the world depending on the time frame you enter, but that is where I'm expecting the price to go back down, well, just above 0.8, so 0.80167 will be the target, but that key psychological level is where I do expect the market to be attracted to. So if you can form a lower high, we'll be looking for some shorts for this one, or the break and retest of that support if you want to drop to the lower time frames there, but the greatest risk reward will probably be from up at these highs up here. So come back, respect that consolidation, lows of the consolidation, form that lower high. First target will obviously have to be the support running through here, that price swing low at 0.80800, but I do think we'll see some new lows past that, and 0.80167 will be the targets for NZD CAD for next week. Okay, so now on to pound NZD. So pound NZD, a lot of bullish momentum this week reacting off this price swing low. We were expecting to see some type of upside. Still am bearish on pound NZD, but I was expecting to see some upside from here. Then a pretty strong reaction there on Friday with a move to the downside. So I'm looking for the market to come back and retest this support now for next week, 1.91500. You can see on the 4H time frame, we had a strong move here, bursting out the consolidation, and now the market's come back into that area. So as long as the market doesn't break through the highs of the consolidation again, I do expect us to come back down into 1.91500, which is that daily support on the daily time frame. So that's what I'm looking for pound NZD. We could be seeing a break and retest of the lows of the consolidation as well, so do be aware of that. We don't necessarily have to come back up here. That would form a really nice head and shoulder pattern, but we could obviously respect the lows as well. But if we do break past this point, the market is likely going to continue to the upside, form some higher highs, and come back into the swing high up here. So do have a bearish bias, but I do see the market stay below at 1.94600. Break above that, look for the break and retest, and longs back to those highs. But as long as we don't have the bearish bias, looking for sales and targets back at these lows here at 1.91500. And now on to CAD JPY, and as you can see, another yen pair here flew to the upside this week and last week, to be fair. You can see the past bullish momentum with those candles there. So from last week into this week, we basically just continued that momentum. I was looking for the break and retest of this resistance here. As you can see, didn't quite get that. The market just continued to the upside for that momentum. Didn't see enough weakness to have that pullback. But last time I checked, yes, we did. We have taken out those highs, so already hit that monthly target, taking out those highs. Now I do expect to see CAD JPY see some downside off the back of this. Not necessarily reversal, something like this. Well, that could happen, but we've had this really strong bullish move here on higher time frames, and we're coming to some higher time frame targets where people trading on these higher time frames will be looking to exit their positions and take profit from here, and also higher time frame traders will be looking to sell from here as well. So could be seeing some profit taking happening, market pullback. Doesn't have to happen. Obviously we could just break through this and maybe head higher. That is definitely a possibility, which is why we have to monitor on the lower time frames what type of structure we get, see if we can get that shift in structure, and then wait for those lower highs to sell rather than just entering because the market is at these highs. So we're still trading at those highs, and as long as we can stay below that and not break above, looking for the market to come back and retest that price swing high here at 102,500. So that will be the target for next week. And simply, as long as we can stay below this, again, not a lot of information here. We've rallied into this level, nice downside move, but this easily could be a pullback from the market to head higher. So either markets come back into here, see if we can form some lower highs, and then we'll start executing on some shorts. So I need a little bit more information, which will come later in the week. But that's essentially what I'll be looking for CAD JPY. So if we hold 106,539, looking for shorts and targets 102,649 for next week. Okay, so now on to pound USD. So for this pair, again, strong move to the downside. We were consolidating for most of the week and a bit of last week as well. If I just made that box a little bit bigger, moving sideways. But pound USD, obviously reacting to the news that happened earlier this week. Markets reacted to that and finally broke into the downside. We were talking about maybe needing a catalyst like a news announcement, news event, for us to see that momentum. And as you can see, very, very big move, very, very dramatic move there for pound. So for this one, again, similar to analysis on Euro USD, high time frame, still definitely in a bearish trend, and expecting price to come back into these lows, into those price swing lows there at 1.21563. So for me, more downside for pound USD, overall bearish market, and expecting price to come back to those lows. Had a very, very critical level here at resistance 1.26, which I said if we can break through, we'll probably see this gap to fill from 1.3 down to 1.26. We can go fill that gap to the upside, but we failed to break through, stayed underneath the whole week, and as you can see, collapsed to the downside. So hopefully for this one we can see a bit of a pullback. We've got a nice area here we whipped into, so hopefully we can pull back into that, retest that, and then roll back over, form a lower high somewhere. Obviously there's a chance that the market could open up and just continue to drop. That's happened many occasions, especially when we close the market with all that momentum. Could easily see that continue, but hopefully we can pull back, form another lower high somewhere, and yeah, look for those shorts. And for me, we'll be aiming for those lows here at 1.21500. Got some targets on the left you can probably work with. Got a little high there, maybe some support down there if you want to work with, but I'll be expecting this one to come back to lows and probably see some new lows as well, since we do have those higher time frames on our side for that bearish momentum. We're likely to take out these lows and go further, maybe into 1.21, but that will be the target I'll have for next week for this one. So pound USD, looking for a pullback, hopefully into 1.24500, into that wick, looking for that next lower high, and shorts back down into 1.21500, into that swing low for next week. Okay, now pound Canadian dollar. So for this one, not much this week. As you can see, I'm pretty much just draw a box around the price. Price is moving sideways, but higher time frame bias and structure is still to the downside, and I still do have targets for this one that are lower. Of course, price has completely melted over the past few months, but I'm expecting price to tap into this support here. Last time the price found support here, we consolidated and have that strong move to the upside. That's what I'm expecting the market to come back into, where maybe you can see a bit of relief to the upside, which is at 1.54600. So still a little bit more to the downside to go, unless we climb back above this support here, climb back above that support, then we might see price recover a little bit. But since we're still below, bearish structure still in play, looking at more downside for this one. So pound CAD this week came into this high, respected it, and as long as we stay below that, do have the sell bias. If we break above that, we might come back to retest this level here at 1.6. We'll see what type of price actually we can get. But for pound CAD looking at sells at this high here at 1.58789, or the break and retest of these lows here. Either which way, shorts still in play for pound CAD, and this market is still bearish on multiple time frames, so expect it to continue, and hopefully we can get the break and retest, or price comes back to make another lower high at this level, and then we can get the shorts there as well. But for me, only looking at sells. If you do hit 1.6, probably look for sells there again, but you need a little bit more development rather than just rush straight into sells. So yeah, hopefully you can get pulled back into 1.58798, then we're short from there, or the break and retest of this low here at 1.57069, and targets down here at those monthly support 1.54681. Okay, so next up, pound JPY. So again, another yen pair flying to the upside the past few days. This one we had targets back at these highs, at this resistance, and we actually saw some new highs this week. Just about, price climbed above. If I drop to the 4H, you can see spiked above those highs, and then we saw a bit of a decline there. Price having a bit of a relief, which probably is very, very needed. But pound JPY still overall bullish on this one, like the other JPY pairs, but we could see some downside in some profit taking before maybe the next leg to the upside. I'm mainly focused on this level here for pound JPY at 164, well, a little bit above 164, 151, but we'll just call it 164. Really nice level of resistance in the market, as you can see. The market has really respected this area once and twice, saw some really nice downside moves. We broke through this level, and now we possibly could be looking at that retest for the market to head higher back to those highs at 168,400. So that's the plan for pound JPY. Still very, very bullish. We was coming into the week looking for a pullback, then the market head higher, but we kind of just ripped to the upside without that pullback. So I think that pullback could be happening now, and yeah, going to be targeting back at those highs and just following that higher time frame trend. Obviously, we'll be seeing what type of price action we get here, because we could obviously break below, but if we can hold that, fantastic, and target to be back at these highs here, where we respected it once, a second time, and potentially a third, at 168,420. So that will be the plan, the target for next week for pound JPY. Okay, so gold coming into this week had a bullish bias for gold, still expecting the market to go higher. Overall, gold is kind of consolidating, as you can see, equal highs there, equal lows. The market is kind of just moving sideways, but if we are successful with this move to the upside, I'm still expecting us to come back into this 1910 level. So what is support there, turn resistance, that's the target for this one. Only if we can clear the resistance here and break out the consolidation. We've sort of had a close above that, but it's very, very weak, and need a stronger close than that to really confirm it. But as you can see, gold was affected by the news, big fake up to the downside past these lows here, and now we're pushing very, very strongly into that resistance. But if that momentum depletes and fails and we start respecting this level, now we'll expect the market to roll back over and just basically back into the lows of the range, and gold continue to move sideways. So there could be some shorts if we don't break above. But if we do and we see that break and retest, then 1908 will be the targets for this one. And yeah, looking for that continuation, because I still am bullish on gold on the higher time frames for that bigger swing, which I'm looking for, and we can take advantage on the lower time frames. But if we don't break out the consolidation, then the longs will have to wait, and we'll probably see the market roll over. And those shorts, again, just taking them out of the range will definitely be worthwhile just for a push back down into 1840. So that will be the plan for gold. If we can hold above 1870, hold above 1870, longs to 1907. If not, momentum depletes and we respect that zone, then we'll be looking for sales back down into 1840. So that's the plan going into next week for gold. And we've got Bitcoin last but not least, as always. So Bitcoin, another market that is consolidating. Well, to be fair, a lot of markets that have been consolidating have actually broken out this week, but Bitcoin hasn't, and gold sort of hasn't yet either. So Bitcoin, again, I'm still bearish long term on this one. Well, not long term. I'm still looking at the price to come back and respect that 19k mark, that prior swing high on the left here. I'm still looking at the market coming back to respect this level, or at least get to that level. We might dip below 19,714. So that's what I'm expecting Bitcoin to head to. But obviously, right now we've got that consolidation. So for Bitcoin, if we can break out the consolidation to the downside, which I'm expecting price to do, we've tried to move higher, but we failed to do so. That momentum depleted. Tried to do it again this week, failed, and momentum depleted. So I'm expecting us to probably break out this week. We'll have to find out. Again, if we don't break out, we don't break out. But if we do, then I will be looking at some break and retest and some shorts back down to the lows here of the wick at 25,419. And if you can break through that, we'll start looking at 19k, that will pretty much 20k for Bitcoin. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Again, if you do play in the range, you of course you have to play the range, buys at the lows, sells at the highs, and just play the fluctuations. But for me, bearish, looking at the high time frames, the structure, the momentum, how price has moved and respected the lows of the support, does look like the market will probably break to the downside here. So nice break and retest of that level. Again, I'll probably wait for a daily close. 4H could be a little bit speculative, so I'll probably wait for the daily for a more confirmed break of the consolidation. And I did draw that on the daily time frame anyway, so should be waiting for the daily close. We closed here on the 4H, but I'll wait for the daily close to confirm the break or not. I'll look for the retest of that, and yeah, sells back down into the lows here at 25,400. And then if you want to push the trade, we've got 19k down there, or 19,700. So that'll be the plan for Bitcoin. If you do stay in the range, then play the fluctuations, highs and lows. But if you do get that breakout, sells to the lows of the wick, 25,400, and then 19,700 for next week. Okay guys, that is the end of the video. Hope you found that useful, enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, want to share your bias or disagree, agree with mine, leave a comment down below. More than happy to get back to you guys. And also, if you are enjoying the content on the channel, please be sure to leave a like. It does help with the YouTube algorithm, of course. Subscribe as well if you want to see more of the same content. Join the community, join the family. But yeah guys, hope you have a great weekend. Take it easy. I'll catch you guys all next week.